All right, guys, I've been working on the bike today doing the 5,000 mile service, and I've been neglecting something. I'm pretty bad about this, and I know better, so learn from my lessons. Don't make the mistakes I'm making. Adjust your suspension as soon as you get your bike. I think it's set for around 190 pounds with no passenger and no gear from the factory, maybe 10 pounds of gear. I'm a little heavier than that. Plus, I've put a tour pack on this, and I've loaded up more than 10 pounds of tools and battery jumpers and air pumps and things like that in the saddlebag. So I really need to adjust this out. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the suspension, and then we'll ride it some and tell you if I can tell a difference. Now, there's a chart in your service manual that tells you how many millimeters down this needs to be. This is a lock ring up here. This is an adjuster down here. There's a preload adjuster on the other side for adjusting for like just if you're loading the bags down heavy. It's a minor adjustment. This is your main adjustment. And I need to use a spanner wrench and take this thing down. Now the guide says if I was running solo with no tour pack or anything else, I'd need about 5 millimeters in here. But because I have a tour pack and because I have this loaded down with tools and stuff all the time, I really need closer to 20, 25 millimeters between the locking ring and the adjustment. Now, if you can see here, the adjustment ring is getting below the lock ring. I need to take this down all the way an inch and then bring the lock ring down to it. But you measure an inch from the lock ring when it's at the top, and you measure from the outside to the outside. All right, top of the lock ring when it's in the minimum position to the bottom of the adjustment ring. Just over 7/8, just under an inch, which is right about where I ought to be, 25, 28 millimeters. We can always adjust a little bit later, and we can adjust a little preloader on the other side if we have to add, a passenger or more luggage or something. But this is pretty close to my typical ride. I've not adjusted this, really neglected doing that. So we'll see how much better it improves the ride. I've complained a lot about the stock seat. Some people say the seat is just position, comfort is suspension. We'll see if adjusting this makes any difference. I do have another seat coming, but I don't know if it'll get here before Sturgis. Run the lock ring down. Make sure it's locked in against the adjuster ring. And we'll go ride it. I'll come back and let you know what I think. Today's video is brought to you by the Factory Match. The Factory Match makes painted parts for motorcycles, like Clockworks fenders. They also sell the Clockworks windshields like what I have on my bike. But what I got from them specifically, I want to show you, is the painted trim that goes underneath the headlight, and most recently, the painted radiator cover. The Factory Match does great work, and you can save a few bucks off your purchase from the Factory Match using my discount code in the link down below. Thank you again, Factory Match, for sponsoring today's video and being a supporter of the channel. Everybody, please check out their stuff. Josh does great work, and he's a small business, and I am proud to be associated with him. I hear nothing but good comments when I see posts about his products on Facebook. Check them out. All right, guys, so the bags are on, but I'm going to tell you how the bike did as we rolled across Illinois to Milwaukee and back across Iowa and back into Missouri. Since I've adjusted the suspension, I had a 475 mile day the first day and a 620 mile day coming back. And no, I did not ride the 1,000 miles on this seat. This seat was delivered the day we left. I'll be doing a video on this, but this is a Mustang collaboration with Codlin. And so this is their square back seat with the Codlin design. I really like this. I've only put about 15 miles on it. We're going to save my opinions for that for another video. But I didn't want you to think I did a 600 mile day on that seat. Not yet, anyway. So as far as the bike goes, it did great. I mean, we had some rough pavement areas, rural Iowa, things like that. We weren't always on the interstate. And even on the interstate, sometimes that's worse with the truck traffic and things. The pavement gets tore up and they don't repair it as often. And some sections of the interstate are worse than they are on the regular highways. It definitely improved the ride by adjusting to suspension properly. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody said aftermarket suspension helps with some of the wobble that people are reporting at high speeds on the street glides. I did not notice any wobble issues since I've adjusted the suspension, but I don't know that I've gone out and just pegged it and ran it as hard as I could at the speed limiter to see how it behaves. But I am interested in knowing if better suspension solves that problem, so we may be investigating that. I still have my 2016, and I have progressive aftermarket suspension on that, and the stock suspension on the 2024 is definitely better than even my aftermarket suspension on my 2016. But I'm considering upgrading my suspension. In fact, I know I'm going to. And you may wonder why, if the stock suspension is so great, why am I going to upgrade it? Well, if you've been following the channel for a few years, you'll know before the new generation of street glides came out, I said if Harley did this, and this, I was going to buy one. What I really wanted that they did not do was a Street Glide ST with inverted front forks like the CVOs have. Only the CVOs are getting the inverted front forks and the premium, like the ST has premium rear suspension and stuff like that, and the Road Glide. Now, I'd like a CVO, but I can't afford a CVO. Not yet. Maybe someday, but not yet. But I could build a Street Glide ST, kinda. I can't get track mode because that is really based on the data that they get from the Road Glide that Kyle Wyman rides on the track. I've talked to the engineers about it, and there's just really not, it wouldn't be right anyway if we did it because they don't have the data to do it right on a Street Glide like they do the Road Glide. So track mode is out. But the main features of a Street Glide ST that I wanted was the handling, the suspension, and the power. Now, the 117 is great power, but they do offer a 122 kit for it. And they now offer Öhlins rear suspension, or Öhlins, whichever way you pronounce it, front suspension as well. So you can get inverted front forks for the Street Glides and Road Glides, and you can get the Screaming Eagle Öhlins rear suspension. Somebody correct me, is it Öhlins? And you stress the S, is it Öhlins? I don't know. I've been told both. But the fact is, there's a box back there. That's another video, and it's going to take me a while. I'm not going to make this happen overnight. I don't have the kind of money to go out and drop, $5,000 on suspension and $3,000 on motor work and stuff like that. So this may take me a year to get it done, but we're going to start with the rear suspension. So that video's coming, and we'll see what I think of it compared to the stock suspension. And I'll take it out and find out if it makes any difference to this speed wobble, because I do get that occasionally when I'm running close to the speed limiter. We'll just leave it at that on my trips to Mexico. I think you guys have seen the video. All right. Y'all stay safe, keep on riding, and we'll see you in the next one.